we're doing something a little bit different. So all of these different series have been like kind of separate. Emotional intelligence was following its own little path. The mindfulness was following its own little path. Productivity definitely had its own path. I think that what we're going to start doing from now on is we're going to really tie these in together. Emotional intelligence is that inner work. It's how you really face the world and control the way that you feel about the world. Mindfulness is how you start to plan and visualize and attack with intention. And productivity is how you execute. Mindfulness builds from emotional intelligence, which builds into productivity. And I think that's the way that we're going to start doing things from now on. All right? So let's see how it goes. I'm Trevor Turner. Once lost, now living on purpose. I know what it's like to feel locked out of your own potential. This show is for the ones who are ready to take their power back and write a new story 1 hour at a time. You can do it. You can do anything, and you don't need permission. That's why I started the free hour, to give people the space to change their story, to remind them you are not your past, you are not your mistakes, you are not done, you are powerful. You can find freedom, you can find yourself, and you decide what happens next. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the free hour. It's your boy Trevor Turner. We are back with another video. We are back with another episode in our free hour ABCs, the ABCs of Tree. And this right here is mindfulness. This is where we learn to become aware so that we can live intentionally. Real quick, by the end of this video, I hope that you'll like the video. I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel. I hope you'll leave me a comment on how I've helped you with your mindfulness journey. I hope you leave a comment on how you've come to find mindfulness, how you've come to live in the present. I hope you leave some type of comment that may help somebody else. I hope that you continue to join us on all of these journeys and all of our different series, on all of the different things that we're doing. I hope that you continue to come back as I start to bring you guys more. Follow me on different social medias, the free hour on TikTok, Trevor Turner TV on Instagram. We're getting more and more subscribers, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this thing. More and more people listening on the podcast platforms, and I thank you guys so much for rocking with somebody who just wants to help people find what I found when I was sitting in that prison cell. That's basically the core of everything that I'm trying to do. I found something that made me feel better. It brought that spark back to my life. It made me get my goals and my dreams again, and I'm accomplishing those things every single day. And I want to help you do it too. Before you have to go through the type of things that I went through, before you have to go through the suffering that I went through, before you have to go through the double-mindedness, the emotional instability, before you have to deal with all of the barriers and the obstacles that I had to deal with. All right? And mindfulness is one of the ways that we get there. So let's jump right in. If you're always waiting for the next chapter, you might miss the story that you're living. One of the things we talked about last week in our emotional intelligence series is that we are only able to live right now. That's where life happens. Now. The only place that life ever happens. And I think most of my life I was living somewhere else. I think a lot of us are. Not physically, but mentally. We live in the future, the next job, the next goal, the next degree, the next opportunity, the next version of ourselves, hell, even the next weekend. And for a long time, I thought that's what ambition looked like. But recently I've noticed something surprising. I actually like my life. It's not because I've arrived anywhere. It's not because I've accomplished everything I want to accomplish, but I genuinely enjoy my days. And that realization made me ask a question. If we're never really finished, then where does life actually happen? The future is where we aim, but the present is where we live. See, I told myself when I got out of prison, or when I was in prison getting ready to get out, that I wasn't going to be one of those people who lived for the weekend. I knew that I was going to have to work. I knew that I was going to have to go to school, but I wasn't going to live for the weekend. I wasn't going to set it up to where the closer we got to Friday night, the closer we got to Friday at 5 o'clock, the happier I was going to be. And then Saturday was my best day. And then Sunday, the closer we got to Sunday night, the closer we got to Monday morning, the worse I was going to feel, the worse off I was going to be, because I was only living for the weekend. I was only living for the next step. One of the things that I even saw, I saw it on a TikTok. He said that the mentality needs to shift. It's not another day down. It's another day less. If you're living for the weekend, if you're living for that future and you're not living in the now, which is the only place that life ever happens, you are wasting opportunities. You are wasting days. You are wasting life, because the future is only where we aim. The present is where we actually live. And the old way was constantly postponing your life. I'll be happy when, I'll relax when, I'll enjoy myself after, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And there is always another after. For me, it was my degrees. For me, it's the next job. For me, it's the next step on my journey. You know, like I got the AA degree. I got my certification along with it. I'm working on my bachelor's degree. As soon as the bachelor's degree is done, I'm going to grad school. I'm working on the job that I'm in now, but I'm thinking about the next job after. I'm thinking about all of these different things and just wait and like saying like, okay, well, once I have this, or once I have that, or once I get to, or once I get, or once I accomplish, or once I reach. And that's what the emotional intelligence episode Never Finished was really pointing out. There's always another after. You don't ever arrive, you just grow. If you misunderstand that lesson, it can become dangerous. Because if you're always chasing the next version of yourself, if you're always chasing the next accomplishment, if you're always chasing the next, you can accidentally abandon the version of you that's here right now. And I think a lot of us do that. We spend so much time becoming that we forget to be. We spend so much time in the future that we forget to live for now. We spend so much time worrying about what tomorrow will bring that we don't enjoy today. We don't build today. We don't lay the foundations today. We don't take advantage of today. We lose today. We waste today. We let it go to nothing. You can spend your entire life preparing for a future that never actually arrives. I know we used to say it a lot, you know, like stop and smell the roses, savor your food, enjoy your life. The future isn't where life happens. It never has been. That shift, it came when I realized something. Every future I've ever imagined eventually became a present moment. Every goal, every achievement, every milestone. Eventually it showed up as just a regular Tuesday afternoon. A normal conversation, a regular day, an ordinary moment, and suddenly I started noticing something. I wasn't living for weekends no more. I wasn't counting down the days. I wasn't constantly trying to escape my current reality, and I still have goals. I still got huge goals. I got huge dreams. I still see so far down the line. But my goals have stopped becoming an escape route. My goals have stopped becoming the thing I cling to feel like I need to escape the now, the present, where I'm at right now. They just became a direction. See, my dreams give me direction. They don't give me permission to ignore what I got going on right now. They don't give me permission to not give the full me, to not give 100% of myself to what I have going on right now. And we'll talk more about that in productivity. Because psychologists call this arrival fallacy. It's the belief that reaching a future goal will finally bring lasting happiness or fulfillment. We really think once we get that raise that we're going to just feel so much better than we actually do. We really think that once we get that marriage, we're going to feel so much better than we actually do. When we get that relationship that we always want, when we're not single anymore, when we're not lonely anymore, when we get those new clothes or those new shoes, or we get that new PC, the new gaming setup, when we get the new editing software, when we get the new camera, when we get the new car, all of those things that we think is going to make us feel so much better. And what happens is because we believe so much in that arrival fallacy that when we get all of those things, when we get to that destination that we've been living in for so long, ignoring the present, and that becomes our present, now we find another future, another arrival, another destination to live in, instead of living in the present and even enjoying the things that we have. It's about wanting something so much and then going out and buying it and then not even using it. It's about getting that job that you prayed for and then complaining about it on a day in, day out basis because it's not what you now want for the future. Tal Ben-Shahar, Positive Psychology Research on Adaptation and Happiness, studied why people often believe happiness exists on the other side of a major achievement. People experience a temporary boost after reaching goals, but quickly adapt and quickly return to their baseline state. Just like you can adapt to negative circumstances, just like you can adapt to lack, just like you can adapt to not having nothing, being in places that you don't want to be, you can immediately adapt to having that brand new shiny, that brand new piece of paper, that brand new job offer, that little bit of extra on your bank account. Shit, I think that one of the ways that I've done this is that I got that job offer coming straight out of getting my AA degree, and I immediately matched my lifestyle to the amount of money that I was making on my paycheck. I immediately adapted, like within a month. Instead of living the same way that I was living and like being able to just save all of this excess, like I immediately adapted. I immediately became living the lifestyle that I was getting paid to live now. And it wasn't like I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I got it now. I was just setting my life. Okay, I got this now, I got that now, and it was like I had never not had it. I was living like it had always been there. Think about your own life. See, there was a time that graduating felt impossible. There was a time for a lot of us when graduating high school felt impossible. There was a lot of times for a lot of us that sobriety felt impossible. There was a lot of time that freedom felt impossible. For me, there was a lot of time that speaking on a stage felt impossible. Speaking in front of this camera felt impossible unless I was bullshitting or talking shit or telling my little stories like some of my people have suggested I do. So if you go to my social media, I start telling my little, funny stories and stuff now. But there was a time when talking like this felt impossible. Like now I sound like the books that I read. Now I sound like, someone who can be an example. Now I sound like somebody who can, dissect the information that I've got and give it to you in a really good package. And I thought that was never going to happen. But then, of course, it did. They've happened and they keep happening. Life keeps going because the achievement wasn't life. Life was everything that surrounded it. The conversations, the relationships, the ordinary days, the people that I get to talk to on a day in, day out basis, the people who call me when they're having crisis, the people who call me and tell me thank you for getting them through it, the people who, just text me back and say, no, we're doing good, everything's going good, the family's healthy. My moms, my pops are still around, thank God. I get to text them, I get to see what's up with them, I see how they're doing. Like, I was always so worried about, I just need to be successful before they go. I need them to see me doing something major with my life. I need them to see, and ignoring the fact that I have the opportunity to talk to them as the person that I am now instead of the person that I was before. All of the people I get the opportunity to work with, all of the people that I get the opportunity to see at 8 a.m. when we all walk into that same place, taking it for granted, worried about the next day, living for the weekend, ignoring these beautiful people I have around me, these beautiful souls. Instead of being able to just live inside of a Tuesday afternoon like it's the greatest thing, because it wasn't promised. The now. Living in the now. See, mindfulness isn't anti-goal. That's something I want to emphasize, because I think that one of the things that we confuse is that if we're not so focused on our goals, we're not so focused on the future and how we're going to get there and the next steps we need to take, and we're focusing on now and enjoying ourselves now, that we're not actually building towards something, that we're not actually setting a direction towards something. And see, the thing about it is that some of the people who have to pay the most attention have a destination in mind, but they can't take their eyes off of what they have going on right now. Let's take a pilot, for instance. A pilot has to be fully engrossed and engaged in what is going on right now, even though their trajectory is so many thousands of miles away. But if they were to just take the plane off and then just do absolutely nothing until landing, then even a slight course deviation of a couple of degrees could have them in somewhere that they never intended to be. Mindfulness is not anti-goal. Being intentional with today, living in the now, is not anti-goal and it is not anti-future. Mindfulness just reminds us that you can pursue tomorrow without abandoning today. And that's the balance. See, something hit me after the Rising Scholars graduation speech. I wish I'd recorded it. I would have posted it up on the channel. I gave a little bit of a version of it. You know, some of the words, things were said at the packed meeting. I'm going to upload that because I got that one sent to me. But yeah, for years I've been chasing things, trying to build a better life, trying to become somebody different, trying to escape who I was, trying to become somebody who I thought was better, trying to not have to deal with and live with the fact that I was just me. And standing there giving that speech, I got emotional. I ain't gonna lie, I cried a little bit. It's not because I had reached some finish line, but because I realized I'd already traveled so far. I wasn't that man who was sitting in a jail cell during COVID. I wasn't the man who thought his future was over. I wasn't even the man from last October. And the crazy part is there wasn't one moment where everything came back. There wasn't a switch. There was just life, day after day, choice after choice, moment after moment, step after step. And somewhere in all those ordinary moments, I became myself again. I got okay with just being me, imperfect me, the person who looks the way I look and not the way that I wish I looked, the person who sounds the way I sound and not the way I wish I sounded, the person who walks the way I walk and not the way I wish I walked. Like, there are so many different things that I look at about myself, and I wish that I was something different, and I wish that I could just be that in the future already. I wish that I could just, have my body right. I wish that I could just, have whatever this is going on figured out. I wish that I could just have like all of the knowledge and all of the information and all of the money that I need and the nice car and the nice house. And I wish that I could just have that instead of just accepting the fact that I'm cool with who I am right now. And it eliminated for me a lot of insecurities because I became myself again. And I got okay with being myself. And I got comfortable with being myself. Just the same way that I got comfortable being in prison. Just the same way that I got comfortable selling drugs. Just the same way that I got comfortable doing all the things that I was doing. I am now comfortable being myself, and I don't have to escape it. I don't have to use substances to escape it. I don't have to pretend to be somebody else anymore to try and escape it. See, I didn't find myself in a breakthrough, though. I found myself in the accumulation of ordinary, long, boring, regular days. I became myself on random Tuesday afternoons when there was nothing else going on. I became myself on Wednesday mornings, whether I was in there and I was just getting up and nothing really was going on, or I was going to work, or I was going to school. Random, ordinary days. Not the weekend that I was waiting on, not the day after the accomplishments that I got, not the day that I went into the airport to do my travel, not the days that any of these things happened, not even the days that I won the awards that I got, not even the days that I got my degree. Just the regular, ordinary days. The day that I had to show up to work when I didn't feel like showing up. So let's talk about some actionable practices to get mindful and to get into the now. Notice one good thing about today. Not tomorrow, not next year, today. Ask yourself, what about my life would an older version of me miss? What about my life would an older version of me miss? What good thing about your life would the person who was so focused on the future, so focused on the escape, so focused on living for the weekend, what would they miss? What would they take for granted? Acknowledge that. You might be surprised by the answer. Stop turning goals into escapes. Ask yourself, am I pursuing this goal because I want it or because I'm trying to escape where I am? Those are very different motivations. See, for me, look, I think at the beginning, I was trying to build this new person to escape being myself. And what happened is that when I learned to bring it back to the now, I learned to bring it back to the present. I learned to bring it back to where I am and what I'm capable of doing, and just bring it back to me. I ended up finding myself. But even at the beginning of all of these different ambitious things and dreaming of the future, constantly keeping the future in mind, constantly thinking about how am I going to get to these destinations that I want to get to, it was still a version of escape. It was just cloaked under the guise of ambition. And I think that for me, once I got to the fact that, like, okay, these goals are what I want. They're not so that I have to escape who I am today. Like, if I remained who I am today, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be great with it. But I still want those things to happen. Next, practice the "this too is life" reminder. When you're driving to work, when you're cooking dinner, when you're sitting in class, when you're walking into the gym, pause and think, this too is life. Not just the big moments, not just the milestones. This, right here. When you're scrolling on your phone, when you're talking to your significant other, when the kids are acting up, when you're stuck in traffic, when you're sitting at work and you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I wish it was Saturday. Remind yourself that this is life. Remind yourself that this is the only place that life actually exists. Saturday ain't even happened yet. And once you get to that, that's where you can start to make the best of it. Once you get to that, that's where you can start to build. Once you get to that, that's where you can start to set direction and start moving towards it. That's what we're going to get into in our productivity next. Because maybe the point isn't to arrive. Maybe that's what Never Finished was trying to teach us in our emotional intelligence series. Growth doesn't end. There's always another mountain. That mountain that you thought was hiding the view is the view. That mountain that you thought if you get around it, you're going to see all this beautiful ocean and beach, it's just another mountain. It's just another lesson. It's just another version of you that's waiting to emerge. But mindfulness asks a different question. If you're never finished, can you learn to appreciate the chapter that you're in? Because one day you'll look back at this season, the work, the school, the rebuilding, the dreaming, the winter arc, whatever you want to call it, and realize that this wasn't the waiting room. This was your life. All the pain, all the hurt that you're going through right now. This isn't the waiting room. This is life. This is giving you the direction. This is pushing you to where you need to go. Your successes, your setbacks, your obstacles, everything that you're going through right now, this is your life. This isn't the waiting room. You're not sitting in some limbo waiting for something to happen. You're not sitting in a place waiting for all the grandiose expectations that you got. You're not just sitting. You're not just standing still. You're not emotionless. You're not silent, stale, lifeless. You're none of those things. You're living right now. On those Tuesday afternoons, on those Monday mornings, on those Wednesday in the middle of the day. This is your life. The life I've been chasing has been quietly happening around me the entire time. And that's something that I realized, or I'm trying to constantly reinforce myself with, because I fall into that too. You know, I'm constantly opening my email. Okay, what's up with the Sally Casanova thing? I'm constantly opening my email. Okay, what's up with this application? What's up with that thing? I'm opening up my email. Okay, what's up with these scholarships? What's up with this financial aid? What's up with these classes that I got to do? I'm constantly opening up things, opening up text messages, waiting for responses, waiting for this, waiting for that, right? I'm waiting for things to happen. I'm thinking that I'm stepping toward things. I'm worried about what's going to be tomorrow. I'm worried about what's going to be next week. I'm worried about what's going to be next month. I'm worried about what's going to be next year. Constantly worried about those things because I'm huge on goals. I'm huge on future, especially now that I got it back. Now that I have a future back, I have to remind myself that it doesn't actually help me to try and live in the future. Life only happens right now. Now that I know I got my dreams back, now that I know I got my goals back, now that I know that I have my confidence, my self-efficacy, my capability, my belief in myself, that I know I can get to any future that I set up for myself, and I have to pull myself back and realize that I can't actually live in that future. It hasn't even happened yet. I have to live today. Life is happening today. The life that I've been chasing has been quietly happening around me this entire time. I have become that new person. I have become something different. I have become something better. And the fruits of it are all around me. And the problem is that if we continue to focus on the future, we will ignore that. We will ignore the fact that we are one of the best people on the job. We will ignore the fact that we are building something that's going to last for our kids and for our future generations outside of it. We will ignore the fact that we are doing everything that we set out to do, everything that we dreamed of. We're living the life that we never thought we could get to. And it's just because it's on a Tuesday afternoon and it's not on a red carpet somewhere, we don't give it the credibility. We don't give it the importance. We don't give it what it deserves. I can't even find the word for it. Because it's not that, or over there, or down the road, or down the line, we don't realize how important it is. Mindfulness helps us get back to that. Mindfulness helps us realize that life we've been chasing is right here. You're chasing a new PR, forgetting the fact that you're lifting heavier than you've ever lifted. You're chasing a certain measurement on your waist or chasing a certain aesthetic, not realizing that you look the best that you've ever looked in your life. You're chasing a certain hairstyle, not realizing that you look good. You're chasing a certain person, not realizing that you're becoming cool with being by yourself and you are the best person for yourself. That you are a whole person, not needing anybody else to make you feel complete. The life that we've been chasing has been quietly happening around us this whole time. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Not because tomorrow doesn't matter, but because today is the only place that you'll ever get to live. So 3 things to take away from. The future is where we aim. The present is where we live. Our dreams give us direction. They don't give us permission to ignore our life. And the life that we've been chasing has been quietly happening around us this entire time. Don't abandon it. Don't ignore it. Live it. And that's it. It's been your boy Trevor Turner, and that's been Mindfulness. Deuces.